All right, y'all. So I want to see what you think about this. George had some choice words, all right, about showrunners making changes to source material. Keep in mind, he's putting this up, he's saying this on his blog literally weeks, days before House of the Dragon season 2 comes out. So I want to know what you guys make of this. Let's talk about it. Let's read his blog and get into it. So he actually posted this on the 24th, I think, and it took me this long to notice that it was up. But nevertheless, it, I just have questions now. I mean, I guess we always have when it comes to these showrunners, right? But I just I just have even more. So George's blog is, and we're not going to read all of it, of course, but we're going to get into the parts that make sense to get into for this video, right? So his blog is titled The Adaptation Tango. So he says, a few years back, Neil Gaiman and I did a joint event in New York City when we were both in town. It was a lot of fun, as events with Neil always are. We told some funny stories, talked about books and comics about Sandman and wild cards and days at cons, and touched on some serious topics too. I would like to upload a video of the event if I could, but I am not sure one exists. If anyone was recording us, I've never seen the tape, but Variety had the best report of the session. So then George posts a link to this Variety article. And it's just, of course, it talks about the session that he was describing in New York, right, with Neil. But I cackled so loudly when I saw the title, because I was like, wow, the title of the article that George linked, because I was like, wow, George is not being subtle with this at all. like at all, because the title of the Variety article that he links says this: George R. R. Martin and Neil hate when Hollywood makes illegitimate changes to source material. Effing morons. So I'm gonna skip through this article too, just a little bit, because it provides context for George's blog post, right? So the article says George R. R. Martin reflected on his literary and Hollywood career and shared stories about book tour mishaps and Hollywood morons in a conversation with the Sandman author Neil Gaiman at New York City's Symphony Space. So of course, I'm gonna skip around. This is a part where George was speaking about honoring source material. The article says, as someone who has been on both sides of screen adaptations of literature, Martin discussed the obligation to be faithful to the written material, which he said is a controversial issue in Hollywood. The author made it clear where he stands. How faithful do you have to be? Some people don't feel that they have to be faithful at all. There's this phrase that goes around, I'm going to make it my own. I hate that phrase. And I think Neil probably hates that phrase too. And then Neil here just talks about spending 30 years watching people make Sandman their own. And he said they didn't even read it, they just flipped through a few comics or something. And so we switch back to Martin, who says there are changes that you have to make, or that you're called upon to make, that I think are legitimate. So of course, I think that's his way of saying, hey, before y'all start dragging me, before y'all, say that I'm being unreasonable, I know that when it comes to TV shows, sometimes things have to change because it is what it is, right? Budget, whatever, right? He said, there's certain changes that I think are legitimate, and there are other ones that are not legitimate. He recalled adapting The Last Defender of Camelot for an episode of The Twilight Zone, and due to budget constraints, being forced to choose between having horses or an elaborate Stonehenge-esque set for the battle scene. He said that, to my mind, is the kind of stuff you are called upon to do in Hollywood that is legitimate. An example of an illegitimate change, Martin said, was CBS making him include an ordinary person who just tags along in the episode in order to appeal to a quote-unquote high concept. And to that, Martin said, I was new to Hollywood. I didn't say you're effing morons, even though he's clearly implying that he wanted to say that. Martin related the topic to the Iron Throne in HBO's adaptation, just saying that basically I know that the Iron Throne would be way too big based off of how I describe it in the books, right? Way too big to do it in the show like how we want to do it. He's just saying that because the ceiling in our soundstage was not 15 feet high, we couldn't fit it in there, and they weren't willing to give us St. Paul's Cathedral or Westminster Abbey to shoot our little show in. So I think so from the article clearly that George linked in his blog post. He's making it clear yet again right before season 2 of House of the Dragon drops, right? Making it clear yet again that there are certain changes that I like and certain changes that I think are ridiculous. And so switching back to his blog post after he posted this article, he said all that article, my feelings describing, showrunners changing things, that was back in 2022, but very little has changed since then. If anything, things have gotten worse. Like I said, the timing of this is very important to keep in mind. Like, he's saying all this right before season 2 drops. If anything, things have gotten worse. He said, everywhere you look, there are more screenwriters and producers eager to make great stories and make them their own. It does not seem to matter whether the source material was written by Stan Lee, Charles Dickens, whoever. He said, well, anyone, no matter how major a writer is, no matter how great the book, there always seems to be someone on hand who thinks he can do better, eager to take the story and improve on it. The book is the book. The film is the film. They will tell you as if they were saying something profound. Like, damn. George is dragging to shit. George is reading y'all. Like, George is roasting right now. Like, he said as if they were saying something profound. Then they make the story their own. But I mean, honestly, y'all be making y'all own story. Essentially, is what it seems like George is saying. He said they never make it better. This part killed me though. This part killed me just because of the words that he chose, like the timing that he chose to release this and the words that he chose, right? He said they never make it better though. 999 times out of 1,000, they make it worse. Now, keep in mind, he didn't say 9 times out of 10. He didn't say 99 times out of 100. Right? Like, this man is an author. He's choosing his words on purpose. This man said 999 times out of 1,000, they make it worse. So I don't know. Like, I don't know how else I'm supposed to read this other than I think bro is mad as hell. Like, how else? Like, come on, y'all. Y'all think I'm reaching or what? Like, because how else we supposed to read this? Like, I think bro is mad as hell. Like, season 2 about to come out. He didn't see all the episodes. Maybe he don't like, maybe he don't like some of the shit that he see. And it's just like, damn, that really sucks, girl. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, later on in the blog post, he talked about the fact that there are good adaptations that exist, right? That really deserve applause. He promoted Shogun or whatever from FX. He could have promoted House of the Dragon season 2 coming. I mean, I'm sure he always does that in his blogs, but you know what I mean? Like, he could have said House of the Dragon is an example of one of those amazing adaptations. He promotes somebody else's show when House of the Dragon season 2 about to come out. I'm just like, girl, this is weird. You know what I mean? He could have said this is one of the amazing adaptations I'm talking about, but he didn't say that. And I could be reading into it, like I said, but this seems to be a little on the nose. Like, is this his way of saying that season 2 is about to be so far from the source material that he is, like, extremely uncomfortable with it? And so, I don't know. Especially after a clip I saw of him talking on some panel with Ryan Condal sometime in 2022 as well. I think it was a special screening of House of the Dragon or something, where he said, and when they meaning the showrunners, he said, and when they add weird ass stuff, if I like it, then that's fine, then it's cool. So if he was saying all this stuff in 2022, right? And in 2024, he's being even more pointed about it now, right? Right as the second season of House of Dragons is about to come out. I don't think it's a stretch to say that maybe we should be a little concerned. Maybe we should be. If he's over here like dragging it like this, I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think I'm reaching? Do you think I'm reaching or you think I'm not? Now, if that's the case, I would say that it would be very annoying, because especially after the way that HBO just butchered Game of Thrones, like, it would be so annoying. And they trying to build a cinematic universe, like, it would be a mess, right? But like, I do understand George's frustration, right? And I think that if, I ever got to a trillionth of that kind of success, like his success, you know, you know, I would have to have in my contract, I don't know. I would have to have in my contract that there are certain things about my story that y'all just will not be able to change, period. Will not be able to change without my permission. Budget be damned, ho. You know, and maybe contracts don't work like that in the TV industry. And if that's the case, I'd rather have my shit just stay how I made it than, you know, for y'all to come up into this shit and changing everything around. Now, I mean, I get it, right? Because millions of dollars are on the table for these authors, for whoever, right? But I just think that at a certain point, you're changing so much of the story that it's not even my story, not even the author's story, you know what I mean, anymore. So why even putting my name on it? Why you putting my, if you want to tell the actual story, tell the story, you know? So the fact that, I don't know, I just want to see what y'all think about this, because the fact that George is out here talking about changes to source material right as the trailers are coming out, right as the actors are doing promo for this shit, it's not rubbing me the right way. And I'm just like, should we get on our dragons and ride up to HBO headquarters? Like, should we be saying Dracarys too? I don't know, but I guess we will find. In the middle of June, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out pretty soon. I'm just like, what do these contracts look like? How much creative control do these authors and stuff have when it comes to these TV deals? It's just a mess. Like I said, at that point, y'all just keep it in the books, and y'all gonna have to imagine that shit. If it was me, like, y'all ain't changing too much of my shit, bro. Like, you know. So let me know what you think of this. Love y'all so much, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace. All right, y'all, make sure that you're going to www.zeraxia.com. When you join the wait list there on the site, you will be the first to be notified when I drop my sequel. Also, you'll immediately get chapter 1 of my upcoming sequel of the upcoming book sent to your email as a PDF. So check that out. Also, this is a different excerpt from my upcoming book, so you definitely want to pause to read if you're trying to get your life. Keep in mind that this upcoming book, this sequel, is following up the first book that is already released called Zeraxia, Wrath of the God King. I released it a few years ago. It was my introduction to writing fantasy and stuff, so just go easy on me. But either way, as you can see here, it's given 4.9 stars. It's given 4.9 stars. So yeah, check out Zeraxia, Wrath of the God King while you wait for Zeraxia, The Vengeance of Coldwind, right? And go to Zeraxia.com, sign up, join the wait list, get your free chapter. Thank you so much.